Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So today is November 30th, 2020, and I was recently asked a question from a newbie gardener for how to start seeds indoors and what they'll need, like equipment-wise, for starting seeds indoors. So I do recommend grow lights. Now, the type of lights that I recommend are, you can just use a regular LED fluorescent light, and you can get those in like the long shop light lengths. As long as they have like the daylight bulbs or the natural bulbs, they work very well. That's actually mostly what I use. I do have one grow light. It's a Shangsite LED grow light. I use that for my larger plants. You can use the Shangsite LED grow light for growing seedlings, but I prefer to use that one for like my larger plants, for my plants that during the winter time I want to get like tomatoes off of, or my strawberries or something like that. So I have used other grow lights. I wasn't the happiest with them, so I pretty much stick with the LED fluorescent lights. So if you have like a fluorescent light laying around that you're not using, you can buy like your daylight bulbs or your sunshine bulbs for that, and you can go ahead and use that light. I recommend having it on for 14 hours a day. A nice little timer setup is perfect for that because you don't have to play with it or anything like that. You just set your timer and it automatically turns on and off when it's supposed to. And that's honestly how I run my lights. And they did very well growing under those. So I do recommend having a timer for your light setup, and it just automatically turns itself on and off. And I recommend, depending on how many seedlings you're going to be growing, maybe like a table or something. If you have like a lot of seedlings, I did start doing like the shelves with the stacked growing. The only thing that you have to watch out with that is so that when you water your stuff, it doesn't run down to your other lights. And I did do a video on my channel for my grow room that I had before I had my greenhouses, and I've converted that space now into like a studio space for where I can get my work done and different things. So the next thing that I recommend is, depending on what you're growing, you'll want a good seed starting mix. Now, the Jiffy Natural and Organic Seed Starting Mix is the brand that I use. I have also seen plants growing in the Pro Mix. I really like the Pro Mix, but it's just a little too expensive for what I can get. So I just use the Jiffy Natural and Organic Seed Starting Mix. And I'll have a link down in the description for some of the different things that I use, so you can check them out online. And I have used some other seed starting mixes. I wasn't too happy with them, so I just stick like with the Jiffy seed starting mix. Now, if you're growing begonias, any kind of begonias from seed, coleus, eggplants, impatiens, I do recommend the Jiffy peat pellets. And I do have a video on my channel for Jiffy peat pellets. It explains how to use them, and I show how to use them and plant them on there. And I find that some plants, they don't like to be transplanted, or they don't transplant well, or they'll have like an irregular germination rate. Like sometimes not all of your begonias will come up at once. So what I find is when they start germinating, you can take the ones out that are germinating, and you can keep the ones still in the little enclosed container, so that, you know, they continue to germinate while the other ones can then grow under the lights. Another thing is having like a tray that you can put like your peat pellets in. And you can use recycled food trays as long as they're clean and as long as they have like a clear lid on them. And I recycle a lot of stuff. Like if you happen to get a food tray or cupcake trays, they're great for that. You know, if you have like a birthday cake or some kind of cake or something like that, you can take the tray and you can reuse them. And that's something that I do with a lot of different things. I just reuse them. And you can also take like different food trays, and if they're deep enough, you can use them as flats. So what you have to do with those is just punch holes in the bottom of them, or you can drill holes in the bottom of them, and you just fill it up with your seed starting mix, and then you can go ahead and plant your seeds. I do a lot of that with like onions and different things. When I start my onion seeds, I recycle like the food trays. Even like your strawberry containers, like if you buy strawberries or like kiwis, different fruits from the store, and they have like those little plastic trays, you can take those trays and wash them up and get them nice and clean, and you can use those to plant in, and it works very well. And you can just close the lid on it when you set it down like on your heat mat. It'll help keep the moisture in some, and so they work very well. I use those quite frequently too. So another thing that I recommend, depending on what type of seed you're growing, is a germination mat. Now, I'm not too familiar with what brand of germination mats to go with. My best friend uses germination mats all the time. I have radiant heat in the floor, and then I also have radiant heat in my greenhouses. So I use the radiant heat in the floor to germinate my seeds. So if you don't have that, and if you don't want to go with a germination mat, a few other things that people use, they'll sit them like on a radiator, or they'll sit them on like the top of their refrigerator or the top of their hot water heater. I've never done that, so I can't really say if that works or not. Another thing that I did do, if you don't want to use a heat mat, is I built a grow box. So what my grow box is it's foil insulation, and I took one of my tier shelves and I enclosed it in with this foil insulation, one of my LED fluorescent lights in there. And the light's on for 14 hours a day, and what the light actually does is it heats the box up. And by it heating the box up, it creates the heat that I need to germinate my seeds. Now, I've done begonia seeds that way, and I didn't have any bottom heat other than the heat that the boxes produced off from the light. And I think you can get the foil insulation from like in at Lowe's. My dad, his one friend has a company, and they make the foil insulation. So that's how I got it, because we used the stuff and we had some left over, and I took and built grow boxes out of it. And it worked very well. The only thing you have to watch is if you're using the regular fluorescent lights, is sometimes they don't always respond too well to the humidity that would build up in there. So that's when I switched then to the LED fluorescent lights, because I found that the regular fluorescent lights, the balusters would kind of go weak on them, and then they would start flickering and different things or go out. So that's when I switched to the LED fluorescent lighting. I found that they just, for me, they work better, and I do use those even in the greenhouses too sometimes. So another thing is you want just a regular spray bottle. So if you have surface sown seeds, you can just mist over the tops. Now, one more thing, and I almost forgot this. I do recommend a little fan, simple little box fan, or depending on how big of an area, just a real little small fan, kind of help move the air around and get some airflow going. In my video, which I'll put a link down in the description for my light setup that I had in the basement, I had a larger fan for that one because I had so many plants and I had so many like different tiers and different things for my plants that it was really important to get that airflow going. When your plants are growing, living, they take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. And what can happen is they'll run like out of the carbon dioxide, and your air will kind of get stagnant on them. So you just want to get that airflow going. Helps to keep pests down, and helps to prevent disease. And it can also make your plant stronger because it can kind of like simulate the wind in a way. Now you don't want to have it on too high, just a nice low setting to kind of get that airflow going. It's not something that you absolutely have to have, but it will help your plants. I've seen a big difference with plants that had airflow and plants that didn't have airflow. So I just wanted to throw that in there for you. But that's, that's your choice. If you don't want the fan, you don't have to have it. But I have seen where it does make the plants, grow better, because they're constantly getting that airflow. It's constantly giving them fresh air out with the old, and it's bringing in with the new. So it does seem to help them. And that's pretty much it. I'm not into the real fancy stuff. For your cell packs, you can get like the little 6 cell packs and the little 4 cell packs. I do like the hexagon trays with the lid, and it has like a little tray underneath of it. The only thing that you have to make sure with that is that you don't get water in your tray and it rots your seedlings or rots your seeds. So that is one thing that I do like that one. But other than that, there's not really too much more that you would need. Now when your seedlings do come up and they start getting their true leaves, I do recommend that you start feeding them. Now I do use Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food. I do 1/4 teaspoon to a gallon of water. And I water them once a week with that mixture, and that helps them to establish a nice healthy root system. And you want your plants to establish a nice healthy root system. Keeping your seed starting mix moist, and you don't want it soggy, but you want it moist. You don't want to let your plants sit in water, especially your seedlings, because you can develop root rot. So the nice thing about like the little Jiffy peat pellets is when you have them, you can, like if you have one that's getting dry, you can go ahead and put it in a little thing of water. It'll soak it back up. You take it out, and then you put it back in its tray. So they do dry out very quickly. So you do want to, check on them, make sure that, they didn't dry out and you don't lose your seedlings. But a little watering can, so you can water your stuff, or, a simple little cup or something like that. And for my begonias, I do use an eyedropper when I feed them, because they're so little and they're so small. I don't want to wash them out of the soil, so I just have like a little eyedropper, and I just kind of like use the eyedropper to feed them with. I have videos on my channel for I have a lot of videos on my channel for feeding begonias and taking care of begonia seedlings. And I'm mentioning this because the initial question was they want to grow begonias from seed. So I want them, to have that information. And I have a lot of videos on my channel for starting different plants from seed and different things that you can check out. And I do have more videos that are going to be coming for that. I have a lot of new varieties that I'm going to be growing. So those are going to be coming, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have some new ones growing right now, and I do have a lot of videos that are going to be coming. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will have links down in the description for different things that I talked about, so you can check those products out. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button. I'll tell you as I put a new video on. You can also follow me on Twitter. I have a link down in the description for my Twitter account. Thank yous for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye!